Well, hello, happy Monday. I am live here on all platforms. I got a lot of windows open. I'm going to give you all a moment to jump in and join me. Today is the first day of my 5-day challenge. I like to call it more of an experience. So I'm going to give you guys a minute to jump on in. Hopefully, if you've signed up for this 5 days, you have been able to look at the material already and can show up today and ask some questions. For those of you that maybe are not sure what I'm talking about, while everyone's coming on in, I just want to say I have a 5-day challenge going on this week. It is free, and each day is talking about a different aspect of the pillars that I use to treat adrenal issues. And one of them is supplements. And so for those of you that have been into the platform, take a look at the video. I see a bunch of you have done your homework. I've been reading all the worksheets coming in. It's been awesome. So thank you for doing that. So I'm going to open this up to questions. So if you're sitting here, you're welcome to ask a question if you haven't looked at the material. But if you're wondering, gosh, what is she talking about? I want to be part of this. You can still sign up. Okay. You just go to my link in bio, sign up, and you can be dropped into what everyone else is asking about. So, hey, Naya, how are you? Hello to all of you popping in. So one of the things that we did today was we take a look at our supplement cabinet. Now, I don't know about you, but especially when I was trying to get well, I was really grasping at anything just to feel better. And I probably dropped hundreds, probably multi-hundreds of dollars on supplements, just looking for that answer. And so one of the things that I wish I would have known was how to read a supplement label. There are two things that are really important when it comes to supplements. Number one, you need to take the right supplement for the right thing, right? So one supplement does not fit all, right? So if you take a vitamin C supplement, but you're not deficient in vitamin C, you're not going to have the same results as somebody else, even if it's a high quality one, right? Number two is, though, you need to know what you're taking. You need to read the label, and you need to demand transparency on these labels, right? So one of the exercises today was to go into your supplement graveyard and to take a look at these supplements and see how much money you might have wasted on supplements. And none of you have beat me yet. I definitely was in the multi-hundreds. I had a couple of you say, oh, about $100, $20, $5, but many of you finding that maybe your supplements are not exactly what you thought they were. So I am opening this up to some questions. I do see one already on Instagram, so I'm going to start diving in. We have a little bit of time now. And then I will also take a look at some of these responsives that have been coming in, and we can talk a little bit more about those particular ingredients. Does that sound good? Can I get some hearts, some thumbs up, some yes, some hey, it's Monday, let's do this type stuff, huh? Who's out there today? Are you guys all in the challenge? How many of you are sitting here going, what is she talking about? Anyone? Are you guys all in the challenge? All right. So I want to start with one of the questions here on supplements, okay, which is hello. Hey, Steve. Hey, Shayna. Hey, Kirk. Hey, Liliana. All right. So one of the questions I have right here, what is some of the top supplements to start taking when you have adrenal issues? And this is something that I go into really, strong specifics on, in my program, in my upcoming program. But couple things. When we are under stress, we deplete a ton of nutrients. We have to. That's how we keep running from that bear. And the main supplements that we deplete are, you ready? Vitamin C, methylated B vitamins, minerals, in particular, magnesium, selenium, and zinc. Oh my gosh, we have another one. Why am I losing it? Yeah, magnesium, selenium, and zinc. Okay, and then the other thing when you're looking at adrenals is you need to look at your rhythm. So have any of you taken the adrenal fatigue quiz on my website? Give me thumbs up if you have. Yes? So here's a really cool thing. If you take the quiz on my website, based on your score, I will actually send you a little e-guide that talks about what types of supplements might be worth considering at this time. And some of them are based on the stage. You may also be looking at herbal therapies, such as a morning one, like for example, my Total Energy that helps build cortisol up, but then also ones that help calm it down at night. Because here's the thing, adrenal glands work on a rhythm. right? So when they work on a rhythm, you have to support the rhythm where you're at. So what I do when I work one-on-one with clients and also when I work in group programs is I teach people to understand what their body's trying to say to them. Because once you understand what stress is doing to your body and how it's responding, you know exactly what supplements to take, right? So like I said in the beginning, what's a good supplement? Well, yeah, it needs to be a really high quality one, but it also needs to be one that you need. Otherwise, you're wasting money on that as well, right? And I know, gosh, I've done that. Like I've just had piles and piles of supplements over the years that did absolutely nothing for me because I took the wrong ones, right? So we don't want to do that. So yeah, you want to look at nutrient repletion and you want to look at any herbal therapies that will help balance those rhythms, right? And that's what we work on when we work together, whether you're in a group program of mine or a one-on-one. That's what we look at is how do we know? What do we take? Because it's a waste of money if you're not taking the right thing. So that little adrenal fatigue quiz, you can go to my link in bio. You can go to my website, click on take the quiz. It'll send you an e-guide via email that talks about, based on your score, what supplements should you start looking at. Okay? So try to give you some sort of guide. Also, I have a really cool announcement. Do you guys want a cool announcement? Come on, give me a little love. Give it to me. So I launched my new store. Now, I haven't launched it to the formal public yet. You guys are the first hearing about it, but it is live at totalhealthapothecary.com. And anyone in this live, or if you're watching this live, if you go there and you place an order and you use the code REBOOT in all caps, you will get 10% off your order. So if out of this, you're like, oh man, I did this challenge and man, I need a new fish oil, or I need a new zinc, or I need a new magnesium. I'm working on setting up recommended lists for you all. It's not there yet, but you can certainly search anything on that website. I am okay with. It's going to be better than the one you got, right? So look for a zinc, look for a magnesium, look for, any of my Total Health Apothecary lines are all of the supplements that are used for adrenal fatigue. That is how they're created. So 10% off. You have till the end of September to use that code, okay? You get one order, 10% off. The code is REBOOT, all caps, okay? So let's see. And if those of you who aren't in the challenge are like, what is she talking about? Go sign up for the challenge. Go to my link in bio. Jump in. We're going to be doing this every single day this week, 2 o'clock. All right. I have another questions. A couple more questions here I'm going to jump into. Hey, hello. Keep up the great work. Oh, thanks. Thank you. All right. I have a lot of CoQ10 supplements on hand. They've been around a while and they seem to upset my stomach. What's an alternative? Well, Corey, a couple questions for you. Number one, are you in the challenge? Did you get the exercise for today? I would encourage you, if you're not, sign up for it. Take a look at the label reading exercise and see, is it truly a good CoQ10 supplement? And is it expired? By the way, guys, good supplements do expire. So if there's no expiration date, particularly on a probiotic, that's usually pretty concerning, right? So, and I don't know if I talked about that. Expiration does matter. So there could be something in there that you don't tolerate. The other thing about CoQ10, and I won't go into extreme detail here just because it can get confusing, but there are different forms of CoQ10, some that are more active than others. Ubiquinol, ubiquinone, right? So it could also be a form issue. It could also be a quality issue. It could also mean that your mitochondria don't need the CoQ10 at this time. Maybe there's a B5 deficiency or something to that effect. So just keep in mind that any nutrient you put in, guys, and this goes across the board, if you put a nutrient in, you have to be deficient in that nutrient for it to work. Or it could be that there's something in that same pathway that is not working. And if it's not working, the supplement won't work, right? So if you're like, oh, I bought all these supplements and they just aren't working, well, then we're not looking at the right thing, right? If it's a high quality supplement with no response, it's the wrong supplement. And that happens. Sometimes you don't know till you try, right? What kind of toxic ingredient should we look out for? Steve, check out today's assignment in the challenge. So I gave you guys a form. If you haven't seen it yet, if you guys haven't logged in, there's a video, some education, and then there's a form where it has all the stuff that you look for and you check it off as you go through all of your supplements, right? Steve, I bet yours are great, right? Okay. Just catching up on all these. Code REBOOT. REBOOT with all caps, REBOOT. on the new store. Total Health Apothecary. You can also get to it on my link in bio. You can get to it from my website. It's my supplement store. So there are multiple brands on there. There's even more exciting, I know, exciting stuff. There's even infrared lights and castor oil packs and all sorts of different fun stuff. There's a line for dogs. There's some lines for your kids. And I'm adding more every single day. So for those of you that are in the challenge, if you're trying to find something on that website to replace a supplement that you're ditching and you can't find it, go ahead and put it in the forum. You guys have a community in there. Anyone who's signed up has a little private community. I'm checking it every day this week. So if you want to pop in there and say, hey, Dr. P, I need a good magnesium or whatever, mine was horrible, put that in there and I'll send you a direct, some information on some good ones. Okay. If you're not in the challenge and you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to repeat this because so many people pop in. Go to my link in bio, sign up for the 5-day challenge. We're doing supplements today. It's an interactive experience, y'all. Are we able to get the handout in PDF form? I thought we were going to be able to, but I'm not familiar with the platform you are using. Which handout? You mean in the Simplero, the course platform for the challenge is in Simplero. If you are talking about the e-guide with the quiz, that will be emailed to you when you fill out a quiz. You can download any of the handouts from Simplero for this challenge. They should all be downloadable. So you should be able to just go, I think there's like 3 little dots on the side when you see a preview in the box. I believe you can download it. If not, let me know, Tara. But I'm pretty sure I made everything downloadable in this challenge for people that wanted to keep the handouts. And if I didn't, I guess I'll go back and do it again, but I'm pretty sure I did. Okay. I have adrenal gland insufficiency. Is it okay to take supplements? Well, I think insufficiency can mean a lot of different things, right? So insufficiency can mean that you don't produce cortisol at all or that it's misfiring. So I think to answer your question, it depends on what the insufficiency is. If it's Addison's disease where you're not producing cortisol, of course you're still going to need supplementation. It just might be supplementation that's different than what someone would be if they had high cortisol, right? But nutrients are still impacted. The body's ability to manage hormones and nutrition is still impacted. So it's just looking at it from a little bit different. And I go into this more in my one-on-one in my group programs, kind of the differences between those. I hope that helps. And with Addison's, you often are taking medications, right? You're often taking some sort of cortisol or some sort of cortisone. And so that stimulates, keep that in mind, that makes you now an overstimulated, right? That puts you into more of a stage 1 or stage 2 because you're raising the cortisol levels up when they don't necessarily need it all the time. So you would still want to replenish the same sort of nutrients. Does that make sense? You're still going to be burning through things because now you have a medication basically replacing that, if that makes sense. Yeah. Steve says, could not log into Simplero. Okay, Steve, definitely send an email, but I will also make a note to have my team reach out to you on that, okay? Or I'll have them resend you another login, okay? I got it. Okay. Can you talk about D3? Yeah, love to talk about D3. I always test low in the fall and winter. Obviously, I get plenty in spring and summer. Yeah, so sunlight plays an interesting role in vitamin D. So it's basically, if you think of this as like D1, D2, D3, okay? So D1 to D2 happens in the skin with sunlight. D2 to D3 is more internal. So we're looking more in our GI system, in our body. From cholesterol. So there's a lot of different places where this can be going wrong. Now, if it's truly that you are not outside, maybe the body is not, using that D1 to D2 conversion, you would need to supplement, right? But it seems like your pathway might be working great if when you go out in the sun in the summer, your levels come up. If they drop in the winter, you would want to supplement, right? But it doesn't sound like there's a problem in the pathway. It's just an issue that it's not getting triggered by the sun, perhaps. Yeah. Versus other people, I'm here in Arizona where it's sunny all the time. Why would people come back with low vitamin D then? Because there's a problem in the conversion of D2 to D3. It's not a problem with D1 to D2. So we have to look at that where those different aspects are. And keep in mind that vitamin D3 is made from cholesterol. When you're under stress, if cortisol is moving around, it's going to favor cholesterol going to other things like cortisol instead of vitamin D. There's also a lot of nutrient deficiencies in minerals that comes from stress. So it causes imbalances in magnesium and calcium. And so that would also cause imbalances in vitamin D. So there's a lot of different ways that vitamin D can be impacted by stress. But if you find that it's normal in the summer and spring and lower in the winter, then you would supplement in the winter with a good quality one. My total vitamin D, all it is vitamin D and triglycerides. That's it. There's nothing else in it. No additives, no colors, no nothing. That's a great one. And it's also drops. What's cool about that is you could take 1 drop every day in the summer and spring, and then up to 5 drops or something in the winter to monitor those levels. So I love drops for vitamin D because you can adapt. We don't always need to take the same dose, right? Hearts, got that one. Yes, I live in Northwest Indiana and sun is scarce in those months. Yeah, I grew up in Seattle and yeah, I tell you, you do. You get those. You definitely get vitamin D deficiencies in the winter. So, but it's funny because I do see them here in Arizona. So there's more involved than simply the sun, but yours seems to be explained by that. Yeah. So when I looked at some of these responses on the worksheets today, a lot of people found palm oil, sunflower seed oil, artificial colors, FDC, red number 40, yellow number 6, blue number 1, hydrogenated oils. I want to know what that was in. I think you said it was a vitamin E. Really? Like, I'm sorry, but we don't need those in our supplements. I personally do not need my vitamin E to be red, right? Other people found titanium dioxide, talc, gelatin, lots of palm oils and hydrogenated oils. And it looks like in this case, they were in multivitamins, B12 with folic acid, B6, CalMag, probiotic, and ashwagandha. None of those should have oils, even normal oils. That is absolutely not okay, right? Lots of oxides found, a lot of sulfates found, a lot that don't have expiration dates or do not list the forms on the label. These are all things I talk about in this lesson. So important. And I know some of you came back and said, man, mine were great. I'm doing awesome. I didn't miss anything. And I just want to say, I hope this confirmed for you that you can have more confidence in what you're taking. Because ultimately, I want you to spend money on something that does good for you, right? I found titanium dioxide. Titanium dioxide is a preservative, I think is how they use it. There are some supplements with certain, there are some I've seen over the years where I've called supplement companies and asked them why they used it, and it had to do with some sort of stability agent. If I just see that and the rest of it is really clean and the supplement is having an impact, sometimes I'm like, okay, we have to, that one's kind of the ones you're like, oh man, do I got to do this? But I'll tell you, you will never, ever, 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 ever see me give you an oxide or anything with red, blue, yellow, or anything with palm oils and hydrogenated oils. Absolutely not. They're not needed, right? At all. Sugar. Why do we have sugar? Was it a gummy? All my gummy peoples, right? That are like, oh, I have gummies. I actually have a couple supplements that I take that are gummies. They're by Gaia. I take an ashwagandha gummy and there's a sleep gummy, and they actually do not have sugar in them. Crazy. So they do exist. You just have to find them. They are on my store, I think. I don't know if the gummies are. I might have to add them, but right? Don't you need to take all of the fat-soluble vitamins together in the right proportions to not create imbalances? No, more so the reason why you would take fat-soluble vitamins with food would be because they're fat soluble. So they take a little bit longer to break down. So a lot of people say take those with food. I don't think it's a catch-all rule. I always say take supplements when you're actually going to remember to take them, because you could spend all day trying to do it perfectly, right? I need to take it at 8 a.m. I'm told I need to take it at 8 a.m. Well, then 8:30 comes, you haven't taken it, and then you don't take it at all, right? So I think it's really important to try to take things when they're optimal, but that doesn't mean you can't take them. But fat soluble typically is recommended to be with food. Although I find that a lot of nutrients, especially B vitamins and minerals, also are better with food because they can upset the stomach. Case by case basis. What is the store name again? It is totalhealthapothecary.com. You can also go to my link in bio, or you can go to drpinkle.com and find it there. It's not as pretty as it will be, but it's getting there. It's functional. I'll do the formal announcement to everyone in the world when it's finally pretty and it has all my bundles there. But I'm creating a bunch of bundles for you guys. Sleep bundles, anxiety bundles, immune bundles, what to keep in your medicine cabinet, things like that. So that's what I'm doing right now. And a lot of it is based on feedback from what all of you were so kindly nice enough to share me with what types of supplements are you not finding that are good? Because this is ridiculous. You shouldn't walk into a pharmacy and buy vitamin C with soybean oil in it. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's not right. Right? I got some fires over there. Bring on the fire. Shauna says, I take magnesium at night to help with sleep, which helps. Great. Anything else I can take to help with stress in the morning other than meditation? Yeah. I don't know, Shauna, if you've taken my adrenal fatigue quiz on my website. I would recommend starting there because I will email you a guide. So based on kind of where you fall in the cortisol spectrum, it'll tell you kind of how to address that, the supplements to look at. But ideally, something like my total energy and total stress support. B vitamins are also really important, guys, and make sure they're methylated. I think I talked about that in the video today, right? You think I remember, but I just get on a roll. It just kind of comes out. Yeah. So it was pretty interesting to see what you guys, how many of you found stuff that you had to ditch, right? And what you learned from it. And especially that does not list the forms clearly on the label. That was a big aha for many of you, right? Especially in multivitamins. They don't tell you what it is. So how do you know what you're taking? And then you have to do so much research just to figure it out. Transparency is really important. I think it's really important in healthcare. And it's really important in supplements. It's important in food. We need to know what we're putting in our body. And if we can't trust that we're putting good stuff into our body, that's not going to set us up for good health and longevity, right? And definitely not for stress reduction. Because guess what, guys? Those soybean oils and those hydrogenated oils and the talc and all of that is stressful on our body. So it's just perpetuating the stress. So when we look at stress on that point, I think most of you could identify external stressors, no problem. Right? I mean, I could list off 1,000 different things that stress me out through the day. But those external stressors can also cause internal stress. And the internal stress comes down to a lot of nutrient depletion. And so when you have this nutrient depletion, if you're taking all these supplements and it's not replenishing what it needs to replenish because it's a poor form or you don't have the right idea what those are, then what happens is you cause more stress on the body. So I first of all, 100% believe in meditation and reframing and mindset exercise. It's part of the whole thing, but it's not enough always because you could address the external stressors and never address the internal stressors. You actually have to address both. You have to look at both, right? So why do they call me the adrenal whisperer? Because that's what I do. I look at the external, I look at the internal, I put them together, and I help you understand how to manage them both, right? Because we have to look at it. Right? Yes. Make sense? So I have a question about nanoparticles. In supplements, I mean, none of the supplements that I use have nanoparticles. It's not something I familiarly come in contact with. For me, I'm more looking at how they're connected, what ligand they're connected to. Did you do the challenge? Did you watch the challenge video today by chance? Where I talked about how certain supplements combine with other supplements and how those supplements combined and they release into the body, right? So there's tons of technology out there. There's some supplements I use that are combined with carbon, which have a different aspect. I won't get into that here, but there's different ways that we can feed the mitochondria to best use the nutrients. There's a company that does that, Cellcore. They're awesome. They have a company where basically it's feeding the body's mitochondria in order to get the best benefit out of these supplements. Those are on my store as well now, by the way, for those of you that have asked. No, I was working areas are a way to access it. In the platform, if you signed up for the 5-day challenge, Fit 20, you should be able to log into the platform anytime. The video is in there. You can go through it. There's an app for the phone if you want to download it and watch these on your phone. But yeah, just sign up. If you haven't already signed up, you can go to my link in bio and sign up for the 5-day challenge, and it will email you access to all of these. You also get immediate access to my masterclass on Friday by being in the challenge. By the way, for all of you not in the challenge, the masterclass you have to register for. So you either have to sign up for the challenge or you got to register via email when the email comes out, okay? I won't be live here. That'll be a Zoom link. So on Friday, my 2 o'clock is invite only. So get on the invite list, okay? Okay, well, good. I have a few more minutes here and then I'm going to pop off for the day. But I really hope for those of you that were able to jump in today and start off with this little supplement exercise, that one, you learned something. Number two, you either had confirmation that your supplements were great, or you know you have to ditch them all. And that you're finding it helpful to just have these Q&As to show up. Question here. When we order, thank you for all the hearts. You guys are awesome. When we order the supplements, is it the same dose for everyone? Not always. No. There are some general recommendations. And once again, if you're in the challenge, feel free to put in the forum any questions you have in regards to that. I'm happy to pop in there and answer this week. That's what I'm here for. If you're not in the challenge, sign up and you'll have access to a community where you can type in questions and such. You don't always have to wait for the Q&A if you're signed up for it. But for the most part, there's a standard dose. And then if you're going to go higher in dose, typically it would require some interpretation from someone like myself to say, okay, here's why, right? But when it comes to nutrients, there's certain recommended doses. My supplements, I know my Total Health Apothecary have the recommended dosages on them, just standard. You may go higher or more often based on lab results and things like that. Have I ever looked into just ingredient supplements? I haven't, but I'll take a look. I'll take a look. All right, so day one, live Q&A of the 5-day challenge is over. Tomorrow is one of my favorite topics and probably the most fun that I had with creating this challenge. Tomorrow is movement day, and I'm gonna guess I'll be dancing. So hopefully you'll dance with me, and I hope you'll have a little bit of fun, and I hope you'll contribute to the community in the challenge. I hope you're going to type questions in there, introduce yourself to one another, support each other. It is so important that we all have community for each other. We are all going through extraordinary amounts of stress, and it's impacting us in different ways. And how we get over it is we come together. So first of all, I am so grateful that all of you have signed up. There was close to 300 people that signed up for this challenge. So I am over the moon. I am so excited. So I want you guys to show up. There's quick homework. It doesn't take a lot of time. If you're working right now, you're like, oh man, she's giving me work to do. This is stressful. This is quick. They're short little videos, some quick little homework assignments just for reflection, just to kind of get you to start listening to your body and figure out, what do I need to do? What do I not need to do? And how can we take this to the next level? So yes, tomorrow, let's dance. All right, tomorrow is dance day. I will be here tomorrow for live Q&A, and we're going to talk about movement. We don't have to just talk about dance, but we're going to talk about movement. So bring your movement questions. If you're in the community for the challenge, feel free to use the community. There's a little area if you go up that says Total Health Reboot Community. There's a forum you can respond to, or you can simply type below the video. There's a comment section. So I want you guys to feel free to engage, to ask questions, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.